We love salty food, we love fatty food, we love sugary food, but we also know that, especially in significant amounts, it's not necessarily healthy for us.
Right.
How can we retrain our brains or our olfactory system, brain taste
Yeah.
system to actually really love
Yeah.
foods that a lot of times are very healthy for us, but just
Right.
don't taste so good?
Man, if I had the answer, I'd be a millionaire. There are potentially ways of trying to overcome some of these issues. So, for instance, adding different types of flavor experiences on top, right? So maybe as you remove salt or sugar, you create more sort of exotic flavor, olfactive experiences, right?
Is there no kind of biological learned or physiological learned way where you can, whether it's broccoli, I mean, I happen to like
Yeah.
broccoli, but whether it's broccoli and people don't like that, is there a way to hardwire that, or is it all about masking with flavors and tricking us to say, this is really cool?
So you may have heard of what we call conditioned taste aversions. We've all had one, right? When I was little, I ate like 2 or 3 pounds of white chocolate within an hour, right? Got very sick, and
That's
now
right.
just the thought
Can't
of
stand it.
exactly can't even
Mine
think
is
that.
Crest. I'll embarrass myself on
Crest?
television. I ate a tube of Crest toothpaste when I was 7. I thought it was so delicious. To this day, as a grown man, I cannot brush my teeth with
Yeah,
Crest. It's
right.
a situation.
So the key there, right, is that we both felt sick within a very short
That's
time
right.
frame, right?
Right.
So it's a learned, right, conditioned taste aversion. So in theory, something like that could happen with healthier foods. The problem is with these healthier foods, the benefits don't typically happen until, sometime later, right? And
Sure.
so we don't pair that feeling better necessarily with the food.
Got it.
But I think there's other things that we can do as well, even beyond just what we do to the food. In our lab, we can use immersive technologies, and we have a variety of different ways that we can do that. We have a big video wall. We also have like the goggles, the immersive technology or the virtual reality goggles that, it's much more immersive. What we've really found is the presence of context changes. It changes what people like. It changes what they perceive. So we're also starting to now look at how social interactions now overlay on context, right? So context is one variable that we can manipulate, but now we can manipulate who you're eating with, right? Is it a friend? Is it a stranger? Those things have very different effects, right? So maybe part of it is tricking the brain and using some of these flavor, nuances. Maybe some of it is when we're migrating into these healthier foods, ensuring that the environment is happy and exciting and playful, right? And then that's part of the experience that's consolidated. And so you start to make those associations.
Sure. Where is taste going? Where is this research going 30 to 50 years from now, 100 years from now?
So I think there's a lot of really interesting things. I think that we're going to start to have personalized nutrition. So we all have, iWatches or Fitbits now, right? And so we're collecting biometrics all the time, right? This information can start to be fed into these types of systems and algorithms that can start to say, okay, this is the time of day where you need whatever, vitamin A, because you're getting tired or whatever it happens to be. I think the technology in terms of food design also will start to enable that. We start to have 3D printing of foods, right? So now you could even envision where you go home and, okay, according to my biometrics, I need, formula C in a, something that looks like a steak, beep, 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 right? And
Like Star Trek.
yes, exactly, exactly right. I think there's also a lot of interest in how we can leverage this information in the development of better tasting fruits and vegetables. So one of the problems, people don't like the taste of whole wheat, right? And so if people ate more whole wheat breads and so forth, they'd be a lot healthier, but so few people actually eat it. So we can start to identify compounds that contribute to either the liking or the disliking of those breads. We can start to then link with horticulturists and crop scientists and start to understand, okay, what are the metabolic pathways that are causing the increase or decrease of these particular products? And how can we actually then start to breed crops to have more higher quality sensory characteristics?
So gene therapy for good tasting food.
Exactly. And we know that we can use gene therapy and breed crops to have a better sensory profile. So now that we've maximized the the efficiency of the crops. Now let's focus on these other aspects so that we can actually deliver foods that people want to eat because
Sure.
they actually are tasty.
But it sounds like right now we can't perfectly engineer the combination of best tasting with healthiest foods. We can socially engineer the kind of atmosphere, context around us to maybe allow us to enjoy much more eating some foods that might not taste as great, but are really nutritionally valuable and healthy to us. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
I think that that's a big piece of it, right? So if we can't make the perfect food, let's make everything else around that food as optimal as we can. The experience, the people, all of those other contextual elements that are part of that process, part of the experience of enjoying foods.